thank you to everyone who has decided to stop by to hear the word of the Raku. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, All Things Ruthless. Hit the thumbs up so that your love will be counted, and smash that bell so that you will receive notification of all new content. Okay, addicts, let's get into it. Daikon tells Andrew that he is the cop on the inside. And of course, Andrew denies it and says, "Now why would you think something like that?" He says, "No, my brother, I am not that cop. I am not the person that's on the inside. Tell me why you would think that." So Daikon continues to tell him it's the way that he moves, it's the way that he talks, it's the way that he speaks. It all screams cop. Andrew says, "If I were a cop, don't you think all of this would be shut down by now? All of this would be completely over." Daikon says, "You tell me what you are waiting for then. I do believe that you're a cop. So tell me what you're waiting for, Andrew. Tell me what it is that you're waiting for to shut this whole thing down." Andrew says, "You know I've already killed my wife. I've given up everything for the highest. I've even done things that I don't even like or believe in. But I did it for the highest." So Daikon proceeds to ask him, "What are you talking about? What is it that you did for the highest?" And of course, Andrew says, "I let him me." Okay, y'all can fill in the blank. You already know what happened back in season 1 between the highest and Andrew. It had been rumors, it had been speculated, but now we officially know that Andrew has sex with the highest. So after Andrew has admitted that he and the highest had sex, Daikon proceeds to tell him, "Don't you ever repeat that again. Don't you ever say that again. You don't need to say that." Basically, that's not for everybody to know. So at this point, Andrew has grown extremely tired of Daikon's accusations. He says, "I've done everything that the highest asked me to do. I've killed my wife. I've had sex with this man. I've done everything. I've given up my life. I've given up my career. And I'm just so sick of the accusations, Daikon. I'm so sick of the accusations." So Andrew proceeds to pull out a gun. He puts Daikon's hand in the gun and puts the gun up to his head, to Andrew's head. And he says, "You want me, you want me dead. You want me gone. You think I'm a cop. Go ahead and kill me if you really think I'm dirty. Go ahead and kill me if you think I'm a cop. If you think I'm, lying about everything that I say that I do, go ahead and kill me." So he's emotional. He's emotional about this whole thing. He has, he's starting to shed a tear. I just want to say, I don't know if Andrew was really feeling emotional, but he was a heck of an actor. So I gotta say, shout out to Blue Kimball for that emotional part, because it kind of made me tear up a little bit. I kind of believe that I was in a situation and right there listening to him tell this story about how he's given up everything, how he's lost everything. Not to mention the fact that Tally has disappointed and hurt him. So he finally, the Daikon, he says to Daikon, "If you're gonna kill me, go ahead and kill me." And Daikon at this point is like, "Okay, I'm kind of believing it." And he lets his guard down and he tells Andrew, "Let my hand go so that I can, so that he can take the gun from his face. And you need to calm down." And so finally Andrew lets his hand, lets Daikon's hand go. And Daikon pulls the gun away from Andrew's face and he tucks it in his back pocket. And so Daikon proceeds to tell him, "I understand why you're feeling this way. I understand why you're so emotional. It's because of your wife. It's because you had to kill your wife. And I totally get it. I totally understand, because I had to do the same thing for the highest." So at this point, we just learned that Daikon had to kill, it wasn't his wife, but it was his girlfriend, and she was pregnant with his child. Now, this also takes me to the fact that I understand now why Daikon is somewhat smitten with Ruth. She has told him that she's pregnant and it's by him, and it's his child that she's going to bear. Yes, it's going to be of the highest, but it's going to be his baby. And so this is why I think that Daikon feels as if he's in love with Ruth. So a whole bunch of things are starting to open up. A whole lot of light is shedding through. And once again, like I said, Blue Kimball, he killed this role as Andrew this week. The tears that he shed, I kind of felt them. I was as if I was already in the scene with them, listening to his stories, talking about how he killed his wife, and and he gave up everything. But then even Daikon's situation kind of made me feel a little bit sad for him. Now, even though he chose that, but it's the fact that his ability to become a father was taken away, all because he believed so much in the highest. And he says that things that the highest has said came to truth, and that's why I have to take care of him. I have to support him. I have to be behind him. And then Andrew says to him, we have to be behind him. And at this point, Andrew has really played a great job at playing Daikon, because Daikon has taken Andrew to another place and said, okay, all right, I understand, I get it. Let's go have a drink. And so they proceed towards Daikon's trailer. So then we have a small scene where Melinda returns to Polk's trailer. And remind you, Polk is the sheriff that she basically slept with to try to get information from the sheriff's department. He's there. He has fallen in love after one day rendezvous. And he has flowers there waiting for her. And, he's asking her, well, where are you staying? And, where are you? You can come and stay with me. And, Melinda is playing the whole thing because she knows that she can't stay with Polk. She knows there's no way that her being with Polk is even a possibility. And plus, she's so in love with the highest that she's literally on a job. So she's just there to do the job and sneak away to try to see if she can get more information. But other than that, we already know that Melinda is just playing Polk. And unfortunately, Polk doesn't see it, or does. I really don't think at this point that Polk understands or knows what's really going on. So we'll see. Polk is still in a little bit of trouble with Sheriff Conley, and we're going to see what the sheriff tells him. But at this point, he hasn't contacted him yet. Conley hasn't contacted Polk yet. So Polk will be going into work in a few hours to determine, we'll see whether or not he still has his job. I mean, you did just have sex on the sheriff's desk, remember? So we'll see what happens after that. So then we see that Talia's folding laundry, and older mother Agnes tells her to take her things because she's moving. So go get her things from her trailer because she's moving into another trailer. So Tally heads over to her trailer, and Ruth is there, and they discuss the bathing of the highest. And Ruth says he's crazy, he's on drugs, and he's just a total mess. And so she says she even cleaned flesh out of his hair. So that's when Tally understands that the highest has killed the deserters himself. And so Tally then tells Ruth about Yancey. Now, Tally gave Ruth no time to really process, what she was feeling and everything. But I guess because they didn't have a whole lot of time. So, Tally says, well, I have a problem. Yancey wants me to come to the bus again tonight. And of course, Tally doesn't want to do it. But she's saying that he's threatening to go to the highest if I don't go there. So, of course, Ruth says, tell Andrew, let Andrew know what is going on. And so, Talia's like, he won't talk to me. He won't listen to me. I haven't even seen him all day. I know he won't listen to me. So Ruth says, well, I'll talk to him. I'll tell him what's going on. And so, of course, Agnes makes her way into the room and tells her, to hurry up, and you only have so many belongings. And so Talia begins to hurry up, and Ruth then says to Agnes, elder mother Agnes, will I be getting a roommate? And of course, Agnes already knows that she's going to be getting a roommate. However, she doesn't feel like it's her place to tell her that she is going to get a roommate. But she says that will be up to elder mother Marva. Lacey, Zane, and Paula are in their trailer discussing their escape plan. They know that they have the keys to the car, and all they have to do is make their way to the car and leave. And of course, Zane is still a little bit hesitant, but we're at the end of the day, it is what it is. You're either going to leave with us, or you're going to be stuck here on this Rockadooshie compound. And so Joan walks in to the trailer, and the ladies see Joan, and they're kind of like at the point where they really don't want to talk to her because they can't trust her. It's almost as if they feel that she knew what was going to happen to the people that were deserters, but yet she still let them go. She even encouraged them to go. And so at this point, the ladies are just not feeling it, and they really don't want to have much to say to Joan. But Joan walks over to the ladies and says, I apologize. I didn't know what was going to happen to them. And, she's extremely sorrowful because she basically got 6 people killed. Not just killed, massacred. And so at this point, all Joan has in her are apologies. And so Joan goes ahead and leaves and walks over to her side of the trailer. And then, Tally and Agnes walk in, and so they see the girls there, but then she says, you're going to be in the area where Joan is. You're going to share space with Joan, and these ladies, Lacey, Zane, and Paula, will remain out here, and you and Joan will watch them. So Tally makes her way to the side of where Joan is. She's putting up her belongings, and of course, Joan is still in her sorrow, her pity mode of, I'm sorry, I didn't know that the people were going to be killed. I just didn't know. And Tally is, she's got a straight face and her game face on, and saying, if you're going to be a leader, you got to be a little bit stronger than what you're doing right now. If you're going to, lead, you got to be able to, stand strong no matter what the outcome. And at the end of the day, you can't trust anybody. And, she asked Tally, well, can I trust you? She's trying to figure out, well, why, they're both trying to figure out why Tally was moved into that particular trailer. But they both say, I wasn't told that I was put in here to watch you, and vice versa. But at the end of the day, we all know there's a plan as to why the ladies were moved, between Ruth and Melinda being in the room with Ruth, and then Tally being placed in the room in the trailer with Joan. So there's a reasoning behind all of this. At the end of the day, we won't know until somebody actually says it, other than the fact that Marva had already said that she was going to put Melinda in the trailer with Ruth, so that Melinda could watch Ruth. But at the end of the day, Tally reminds Joan that you can't trust anybody. You can't trust anyone here. So, basically take that however you want it. You just can't trust anybody. You got to be on your guard at all times, because you never know who's watching. And basically, in a nutshell, don't expect us to become best friends because I know you've done things, you know I've done things, and at the end of the day, it's all about survival right now. And so then we fast forward over to where even though Marva told Ruth that she was going to be in charge of the big feast that they were having, yeah, she probably goes to the kitchen, but we don't really see her do that. So at the end of the day, Ruth ends up in the trailer with the highest, and she's there giving him his manicure and pedicure. And so Marva walks in and she sees Ruth there. Of course, she has this whole evil grin, or this green, envy green look on her face. And she says, after Ruth is done, the highest is saying to Marva, you train Ruth very well. She's really good. In other words, we already know what the deal is between Ruth and the highest. The highest, he loves him, Ruth. And Marva, sorry mom, but you're about to be replaced. You're being replaced, period. Right in front of your face. And Marva doesn't like that. She doesn't like it, not one bit. But then, after the highest tells Ruth that she can leave, Ruth go ahead, she walks out of the trailer. Of course, Marva has to put her 2 cents in. And tell her, girl, don't talk to him that way. And, the highest is like cool with everything. But Marva doesn't really know the situation. Therefore, the highest is trying to keep everything on the low. And so, the Marva says to the highest, I just came here, to check on you, to see how you're doing. And the highest is just like, I already told you I'm good. Like, there's no reason for you to come here and question how I am. Matter of fact, just go get my food. That's all you need to do, Marva. Go get my food and we're good. And so Marva leaves. Of course, she asks, is there anything else? No, that's it, Marva. The highest is, I want to be bothered with you. Exit stage left. Okay, so then we finally see Clark returning back to the camp, and Oliver is at the gate, and Clark asks Oliver, are you okay? And of course, because you've been a little antsy, you've been a little agitated, and I just want to make sure you're good. He asked him, is it about Lacey? And of course, Oliver is, denying and no, it's not about Lacey. In actuality, Clark does not know that Oliver has not just murdered, but decapitated, dismembered an entire human being. Therefore, he's going to be a little agitated. He's going to be a little bothered. But, Clark is unaware of it. And so he says, Clark says to Oliver, have you had your break? And Oliver says, no, I haven't had a break yet. And basically Clark says, okay, you can have 20 minutes, go do what you need to do, and come back. At this point, Oliver still has not found those keys to that car. We know why he hasn't found the keys to the car. But his next mission, because of the fact that he has not found those keys to the car, he needs to go find the keys. Anytime he gets a break, that's what he needs to be doing. Find the keys to that car so he can move the car so that that body doesn't start smelling and he's not found out about what has happened. So then we have River and Ruth, and at this point Ruth is pretty agitated. She's just had to clean flesh from a man's head. She's seen it's just too much gore, a whole lot of gore for her to handle. And River, here he comes with the questions. Ruth is not in the mood for the questions, and she even tells him, I'm not in the mood. But River being River, he wants to ask questions anyway. They give their little exchange back and forth. At this point, Ruth is agitated, and she's so pissed off. She says, what type of name is River for a nigga? You know what I mean? For a man, for a ninja. Okay, so yeah, I said it. It is what it is. But at this point, that's exactly what Ruth said. Ruth is, she's snappy, she's agitated, like I said, but I'm sure any one of us would be agitated if we just had the clean flesh of people who had just been murdered by someone out of someone's hair. And so once they're done with their little snappy exchange, they both go to their collective corners, and she goes her direction, he goes his direction. At first he was in denial about the fact that the highest had killed the people, but once Ruth started explaining about the flesh and everything, and she told him, she was like, you're a narcissist, you know that this crap was going to happen anyway, and you liked it, you know what was going on. But at the end of the day, not too many people really seem to know that the highest has these tendencies, but they're slowly but surely learning. So then we have Melinda returning to the camp. She still has on her little Doomy Baby shorts, her jacket, and that white t-shirt with those boots. Or her white collared shirt and those boots and that jean jacket. And Marva sees her and she's like, where are you coming from? Why are you going to compound looking like that? In other words, that old sweet Marva that she was to Melinda, she's no longer that person. She has transitioned back to the older mother that we all know, the hateful, mean, and spiteful elder mother. She's become insulting to Melinda, telling her she smells, she needs to take a bath, and she told her, you are a whore, but you don't have to act like one. And at this point, Melinda's like, well, dang, but all I want to do is see the highest, but she's kind of shocked that the elder mother Marva has taken this new tone with her. But at the end of the day, all she cares about is as long as she gets to see the highest. And so Ruth is walking by, and Marva says to Ruth, go ahead and bathe her. She stinks, go ahead and bathe her. So Ruth and Melinda, they walk off, and they proceed to go towards the trailer where she'll be bathed by Ruth. Okay, so then the sun has gone down. Now I don't know what happened to this big feast that they were supposed to have, but it must have happened and then it ended because now the sun has gone down, and Paula, Lacey, and Zane are prepared to escape. They're ready. They're doing what they have to do. So Lacey goes and talks to Oliver, and she's trying to see where his head is at, and he's still looking for those keys. And then he asks her, well, do you have the keys? And she's like, no, I don't have the keys. Maybe Yancy saw the keys, or maybe Yancy saw them and picked them up and put them up. Where did you last have them? Of course he runs through the whole spiel of, they were in my trailer, they were here, they were there. But then he said, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll go and check with Yancy. Maybe Yancy has seen the keys. And at this point, we already know that Lacey has those keys, and the ladies are in the process of getting ready to break camp. I guess we'll see next week or the week after, if the ladies actually decide to go ahead and break camp. But this is my next thing with that whole situation, knowing that those ladies have the keys to a car. Do you guys think that Tally will actually go with them? Is that how Tally ended up at Nancy and Richard's house, Barry's parents, Callie's grandparents? Do you think that's how she would end up at that house? All right, guys, just you already know. Leave your comment down below, and we'll go back and forth about it. We'll see, if this in fact is, a possibility. Okay. So then we have Andrew and Daikon. Andrew and Daikon are in Daikon's trailer and they have beer. Once again, they have this fuzzy beer. I swear, Daikon, I think Daikon is like putting date rape drugs in the beers, because Andrew's is always look extra foamy compared to what Daikon is drinking. But anyway, at this point, I'm gonna just go ahead and give it to you straight. At this point, Andrew is sitting there drinking his beer, and Daikon basically tries to shoot his shot. He's like rubbing, trying to, massage Andrew, and Andrew is like, nah, brother, I'm not interested. There ain't nothing in this trailer that's turning me on, and basically, you're doing too much. Get your hands off of me. I'm not with it. And so, then the trusting part returns, where the non-trust returns with Daikon, where he says to Andrew, do you know Lacey? Is that what you do? Basically, he's asking Andrew if Lacey is how Andrew is able to relieve himself. Basically, are you having sex with Lacey? But Andrew was like, nope. I've told you already. That's not me. That's not what I'm doing. So stop with the accusations. We already had this conversation before. And so Daikon says to Andrew, well, Lilo, right? And he's like, okay, yeah, I've heard of him. Well, he says that she being Lacey, had been having sex with someone prior to him having sex with her. And so basically, in a nutshell, Andrew went ahead and just broke it down to him and said, well, what if he is just small? It doesn't matter, because Daikon is like, well, maybe she's had sex with too many people. And Daikon, he finally says, okay, well, yeah, that does make sense. And they both start laughing. Maybe he is too small. And they say, well, neither one of us have that problem. And they both laugh it off. And so then he tells them a little bit more about who Daikon or who Lilo is. He lets them know that he's a senator's son, as well as the highest parole officer. At this point, Andrew is like, oh shucks, what have we done? What has Oliver done? He's kind of stunned about it. Andrew also knows that, like I said, Oliver killing Lilo has started a spiraling effect, and at this point, hopefully they can get that body up out of there. Hopefully they can get that car out of there, and hopefully those ladies don't end up in trouble, because they do have a body in that car. But we'll see what happens at that point. All right, so then we have Ruth bathing Melinda. She's finally made it to the trailer. She's bathing her, and she's just talking, and Melinda is just also excited. She's thinking that she's gonna get to meet the highest, and Ruth is bathing her. She's like, is that why you have bruising, on your inner thighs? Because you did what you had to do for the highest. And Melinda is okay with it. She's like, yep, I did what I had to do for the highest. And Ruth asked her, well, how old are you? And Melinda says, I'm 19. But of course, Ruth tells her she looks like she's way younger than 19. But Melinda, I think Melinda's on something too. But Melinda says, no, I'm just, it just, being happy just makes me look youthful. And so basically, that's the end of their story. So then we have Daikon and Andrew still in the trailer. I forgot to mention to y'all that Daikon asked Andrew if he could look at his man parts. And Andrew was like, nah, bro, this ain't that type of party. Step off, But yeah. So anyway, William makes his way to Daikon's trailer, and he has literally found a stick that looks like a wishbone. The stick that Andrew described. And so Andrew was looking at him like, how in the heck did he find this? And where the heck did he get it from? And so on and so forth. And at this point, it's a game. At this point, it's a game for everybody. And so William leaves .com's trailer, and not shortly after, Andrew leaves. So Andrew is walking, and he sees William approaching him. And William says, he starts to question him. Well, yeah, I found your stick, and it, how did you make it? How did you make it look like that? William asked Andrew, and Andrew was like, oh, I just did, blah blah blah. Thinking that in actuality, in a nutshell, William was the one that made this so-called stick that Andrew had been pretending to look for. He said, but I did it because I knew that you were lying to him. So tell me, what were you really looking for? And I don't know. This whole thing threw me off, because from the time that we were allowed to even hear William speak, he has been saying that he wanted to leave. And now it's like he has an ulterior motive as to why he's dealing with Andrew. But Andrew is like, he's not letting in. So then, William goes into the whole mode of, I'm just tired. I don't want to keep getting hurt by the highest. You can't keep letting him do this to me. And so finally Andrew says, well, I have a way for you to get out of here. And William is like, well, where am I going to go? Andrew says, well, you go to the sheriff's office and you tell them that you want to speak to Brian. And at this point, William is like, well, how am I supposed to leave the compound? How am I going to be able to get out of here? And Andrew says, I'll help you escape. And almost like a light bulb came on in William's head and said, okay, thank you. And he starts walking away. And then Andrew says, well, where are you going? He asked him, where are you going? And William begins to run a fast pace, and Andrew begins to chase him. Where you going? Where you going? And William begins to yell out, deserter, traitor, 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 traitor. And do you know the words traitor on the place like the Rakadushi compound can get somebody killed? And so at this point, Andrew was like, wait, what do you his mindset is just like ours. I thought, you were really trying to leave this place, but it seemed like you're working with the highest too. So Andrew does a little karate on him, or kung fu, jujitsu, jeet kendo, whatever you want to call it. He does that to take William down, and he basically ends up killing William, because if he didn't kill William, his entire cover would have been blown. So now I'm at this point like, dang, William, like, dang, little buddy, it's like that. Like, that's how you really feel? You were on your way to tell on Andrew. So who else is he working with? Or was this because William just had given up hope and was willing to do whatever it took to die? Who sent him for Andrew? Probably Daikon, because Daikon continues to doubt Andrew. So at this point, now we know little baby William, little boy in the box, he no longer exists. He's gone. Rest in peace, William. So that episode 6, man, it left us with a whole lot of work, a whole lot of stuff to process. But at the end of the day, we're always going to wait and see until the following episode how the next week is going to play out. So that's it, y'all. That's it. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, All Things Ruthless. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the love of the Rakadushi. And don't forget to smash that bell so that you are able to receive all notifications of new content. All right, y'all. Thank you guys, and have a great weekend.